Hello, everybody, and welcome to Akuban Nights. How are you all doing today?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Pretty good.
I'm good.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I have invisible cider. That's my contribution for today.
Very important in all situations. So Akuban Nights is an AD&D 2nd edition campaign, and despite the amazing 80s aesthetics, there are no laser raptors, there are no guns, there's no vaporwave in-game. Unfortunately, maybe one day. Maybe you guys can do some time traveling and get laser raptors.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Yes.
I need a laser raptor at some point, or
We all could use a laser
at the
raptor.
very least, a shark with a laser beam strapped to its forehead.
Or maybe some like really angry sea bass. You know, that could be useful.
Yeah, really angry sea bass with a torch on its head.
Yeah. Do you mean like a burning torch or like a British flashlight? Because just a flashlight is maybe not good enough.
Yeah.
Anyway. Welcome to Akuban Nights, everybody. As I said before, this is an AD&D 2nd edition campaign. If you're unfamiliar with AD&D 2nd edition, don't worry about it. We've house ruled the crap out of it anyway, so no one will be able to follow along unless you already know the rule system we're using. But it's simple and easy, and we've made a lot of adjustments, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I hope. So why don't we go around the table and introduce some of our characters to each other. Why don't we start with the oldest of the family here, Bud. Who are you? And what family is this that you're from that might be important?
Well, first of all, my name is Sven. Some might know me as Old Mighty Friendly Gamer, and I'm playing Budarios, which is the oldest son of the current king of Akuban, which last name I always forget, sadly. It's not like it's my last name as well. And yeah, he's a 32-year-old male Akuban fighter who has traveled the lands, seen some stuff, and recently returned home as a long-lost son, joining his siblings back in Akuba again, and yeah, now traveling with them on some strange mission his father has.
Yeah,
he doesn't know much about.
What is your character class?
I'm a fighter slash a pugilist, so most of the time my character is going to be trying to use his fists, his head, and his knees, elbows, and throws. And if all goes to shit, he has along a partisan with him, a pole arm, which he's going to use, but his general code forbids to use this weapon against normal mortals.
Good. And let's go from the oldest to the youngest of the family here. Fuzzy Freaks, hello.
Hello. Right. Yes, I'm Fuzzy. I'm playing Maya, who is the stepsister of the other characters.
Half-sister?
Half-sister, yeah. Sorry, not stepsister. Good. I remember words. Today's going to be great. Yeah, she's the half-sister of the other things, because her mum was a concubine. And she's the rogue of the party, slash assassin. And she's lovely and definitely doesn't have a chip on her shoulder about anything, and is definitely not a sneaky, devious little shitlord. Definitely.
Good. And you said your mother was a concubine? Mm-hmm. How's that family relation working out for you with these other people? Do they accept you as one of their own? Do you feel outcasted?
I don't know, really. Probably feel outcast, but whether they actually accept me or not is that'll probably happen in the RP sort of. I'm just going to sort of wing it and see what happens.
All right.
See how it all falls out.
Okay. And next we have the twins. So you guys at the same time. Who are you? What are you doing? Where are you in the family?
I'll go first. Otherwise, we'll end up with no one going first. Hi, I'm Dan. You may know me as Lucifer, one of the mods here. I'm playing a character called Sammy. The I am not the oldest, so I get a lot more freedom than my older brother. So I chose to take to the magic arts and learn the ways of the conjurer. I carry a spellbook around with me on a chain on my neck. It's very fancy. And I have a twin sister who's not identical, of course. And brothers and sisters can't be identical.
Right. And twin sister, who are you? And tell us where you are in the family and your standing and all that jazz.
Well, I am Bayama on chat. You can't find me anywhere else, really. Anna-Sophie works also. I am playing Sarah. Sarah is the older one of the twins. She came out like 1 minute earlier than her brother.
She lords it over his head to this day.
Sometimes she does, but they don't tend to fight an awful lot. Like, they are very, very close to each other. And even if they don't agree with things, they won't show it to the outside. Like, to other people, they always seem to be agreeing on things or getting along. So Sarah is a Cleric of Martha. She's had it pretty tough since Bud has left the family, and like while he was gone. She has tried to keep things together. I mean, the father is not in the best position right now, and their political power is kind of failing a little bit, so the family is in a little bit of trouble. But Sarah's trying to go to meetings of the council. She's trying to talk to people. She's trying to take on responsibility and trying to, bring religious people and political people together and try to work things out. So she spends a lot of time doing these things when she's not, going and doing her clerical duties.
Okay. Wonderful. So we're going to take a quick look at the world map here, because this is going to be very important in our game. Our party is the royal family, at least the youngest part of the royal family, from this nation over here on the left that I've circled in red. This is Akuban. There are a few other kingdoms. This middle one right here that I'm circling now is Mistria. I'll shade it so it's easier to see. Down here is Drekis, this bottom one. I'll shade it the other direction. And there are a few other ones. This little tiny kingdom over here is Matava. We probably won't be dealing with them anytime soon, but we'll probably get to them later. And this over here is the remains of the kingdom of Eridon, which has recently kind of just collapsed and imploded after some demons snuck into the world, and things went to hell, and it's been sort of destroyed. Last but not least, there is a small elven kingdom, yes, over here. The elves are quite reclusive, don't really like to playing with anybody, and kind of stick to their own. Currently, Mistria, this kingdom here, ooh, that's a terrible color to blink in, is at war with Drekis to the south. Now, this may be better blink. There we go. It's a terrible color too. So these two kingdoms have been at war for a while, each of them trying to conquer the rest of the world at this point, since the major power of Eridon, the far east, has fallen. You guys in Akuban have been chilling on your own, not really getting involved in any of these wars. You're kind of far from everything. You've got this big mountain range and desert keeping you separate from the affairs of these other people. Even though your long-term rival down in Drekis is at war, you guys have kind of been keeping your hands off and maybe profiting off both sides. And we are going to come into game as you guys are on a ship bound for Mistria. You're not entirely sure of why you're here. Your dad just piled you all on a boat and said, "Come on, kids, we're going." As dads
Get in,
are wont to
losers,
do.
we're going sailing.
If you don't stop that arguing, I'm gonna stop this ship. I'm gonna turn around. We're gonna head right back home.
But Dad!
Yeah. He hasn't actually told you why you are coming here. And we're gonna come into game as you are approaching your final destination, and he's gonna pull you all aside and have a chat. But before we do that, Bud, you've been gone for a long time. How recently did you get back? Is it like a couple days before everyone left? A month before everyone left?
I would say it's about a month or two, so that we had a bit of time to settle in and have a talk with my dad about why I was gone, so that we might play that out at some other time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fairly recent.
Okay. So here you guys are on your ship. It's getting kind of late. You're going to be arriving at Slagmire sometime tonight, probably. Maybe early tomorrow morning, depending on tides and everything. You're on a ship, but with your father, the king, his personal bodyguard, a knight you are all familiar with for many years. Her name is Celine, and 4 of the king's guards, as well as the king's personal assistant, Yassi. Now, you're traveling internationally at this point, and you are not bringing a lot of trappings with you, and you're not bringing a lot of soldiers with you, and you're not in one of the official royal ships that's decked out with everything. By all intents and purposes, no one would know that the king was on this ship unless they asked somebody here. It's a little unusual for you for the king to travel with such a lightly armed guard, but he hasn't said anything about it this entire trip until you guys are here, arriving near Slagmire. And he pulls you all aside in his nice, fancy, cozy king's room on the ship and sets you all down and says, "Well, children, I'm sure you are wondering why we're here today."
Yeah.
Indeed, Father, yes.
The newly minted king of Mystria, a gentleman I'm sure you all know, King Gilder, has has wanted to have an exclusive purchasing deal back home for all of the weapons that our smiths are creating. He would like a large shipment and a constant supply for this war they're fighting, and we're here to see about the feasibility of it. Do you have any questions?
Would this not have been better done perhaps by an ambassador? I'm just thinking of your security, Father. It's a long, dangerous trip.
Well, an ambassador, you know them. They're all in the pockets of the conclave. I couldn't trust any of them. The ruling body over there, you know how they feel about us. They often trying to usurp power, and I can't trust a single one of them. They would do anything. They're money-hungry, greedy whores.
Indeed, Father. You are quite correct.
Yes.
So, Father, you thought it is a good idea to go with your firstborn son and all your siblings on a trip with just a very low amount of guards, far from our own borders, deep into friendly or unfriendly territory?
It's not my... It was Yassi's idea, he says, pointing to the assistant nearby. She wisely suggested that there are many people who might want to disrupt this meeting, and that it might be better served done in quiet than in public. So to that effect, we didn't tell anybody, even the conclave, when we would leave. Didn't even tell you. So if no one knows we're here, how can they find us and hurt us? Didn't think about that, did you, young whippersnapper?
Pirates?
Unlikely.
Spies, traitors.
Traitors couldn't know if no one else knew. Unless Yassi's a traitor, but of course she's not. Are you, Yassi? Shakes her head. Good.
Oh,
But can I ask, why now? I mean, we've been doing well, not meddling in affairs, right?
Ooh.
And why would we put it at risk to be at rivals with Drekkas again?
Well,
'Cause they would
they're
like
offering
that
a lot of money, my dear child. And as well off as we might be, you know, economic growth is good for the country, employs lots of people, fills our coffers, and gives us comfortable lives.
And money is power, of course.
Not if it brings war to your homeland, though.
Well, that's what we're here to decide. Because if this is indeed... If the... how should we say? I harbor a similar fear that arming these people would cause problems at home. Either Drekkas' attention turned towards us in retaliation, or if Mistria or Drekkas wins, afterwards they come looking for us next. That is my concern, my grave concern. That's why I haven't given this matter over to the Conclave or families normally in charge of this thing. I worry we might be digging our own grave here. So I wanted to speak with this new king face to face and see what all the hubbub is about.
I mean, if he needs weapons and armor to defend his country, I can see that. But if he's seeking war, well, once that reaches the ears of our enemies that we supplied the weapons they're getting killed by, I agree. We have a problem, Father.
It might be problematic, it might not. But we'll see. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. What's with all the
Indeed.
questions?
I trust in your good judgment, Father.
Thank you, Maya. It's nice to have some support among my own family.
You always have my support, Father.
Bad enough the conclave thinks I'm incompetent or useless, and just don't need that for my own children.
That's not true, Father. We all love you.
Indeed.
We're just worried. That's how we are. And we just wanna...
Good. It's fine. Well, I'm going to go speak with the captain about our arrival time. He gets up and hobbles on out. Heads out
Maya
to go speak with
bows
the
low
captain.
as he leaves.
The aged 80-something-year-old king leaves. You, his second group of children, after the first some died in a hotly debated incident with many different stories about it, which we'll get into another point in time.
They didn't die on the ship, right?
They did not die on a ship. No. They died off a ship.
Don't
We're
leave the
still
ship.
shit, we're fine. Right, yeah.
I guess I'm gonna get a cup of wine and address my siblings and say, I think this trip is a bad idea. It's too much risks.
I would agree with you, brother. Indeed. But we must, of course, obey our father. He is the king, after all.
Yes, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna confront him about it. But I think as we are around each other, we should discuss these things.
So long as we don't, so long as things don't take a treasonous bent, certainly.
No, not at all. I'm just worried for Akuba and what this trip might lead for our nation.
Indeed.
Do you guys have any questions that you would like answered that you probably would have had answered earlier? Any thoughts that you would like to share, or should we hop right into landing at Slagmire?
Can you tell us how much Mistria loves us? As Akuba?
You guys have historically been fairly neutral. Mistria is a fairly large trading area, but they, for but this is definitely an important detail. For many, many years now, Mystria has sort of been conquered by this big scary red dragon. She's taken up residence in the mountains there and has been demanding tribute for a few generations. And the entire country has been impoverished as a result. How they were staying in the war is a matter of some question, because, you know, impoverished nation. But there's rumors that they've been looting the remains of Eridon, the kingdom in the east that has been destroyed by demons. So Mystria hasn't really had much of a relationship with everyone because they've been so oppressed by this nasty red dragon for so long. And everyone's kind of like, I don't know, things are a mess over there. Let's just leave them alone.
I ain't fucking with the dragon.
Yeah. But here you guys are, coming to Mystria to see how things will be. And I think your interactions here with them today is going to really be setting the tone for your relationship with Mystria come the future.
Okay.
Yeah. So your ship pulls up towards Slagmire very late that night. The canals.
What a charming name, Slagmire.
Isn't it? The Canals of Arcadia, these waterways that we're in right now, were formed some 1,500 years ago when the gods saw fit to punish the people for their wicked ways and kind of split everything apart. This was once just a regular landmass that literally just fractured. So these canals have, you know, hundreds and hundreds of feet of cliff. These towns here are perched at the edge of these cliffs that go straight down into the water, and the canals are, let's see, about 2.5 miles apart over there, 4.5 miles apart over there, 2 miles apart over there. So they're the huge giant canals with these sheer cliffs that people have had to like build walkways into that go up to the cities, and it's kind of a complicated route of doing things. But that's where you are. So we arrive at Slagmire, and it is nighttime as you arrive. And as you're pulling off, there is a person down by the docks, a very official-looking person with a bunch of guards nearby, dressed in chainmail with shields and spears. And as the first people begin to unload from your boat, this guard approaches them. There's some heated words, and they then step onto the boat, looking about, and come straight over to the king, give a salute and a bow, and says, "Good King Harazim, we are here to escort you to the capital. We have a duo of wagons for you and your men, as well as some drivers for them. And not wagons, I'm sorry, carriages. Very, very nice carriages for you. If you would not mind spending the night here in Slagmire, we can make our way to the capital tomorrow." And your father kind of looks around at you and then pulls Bud over and says, "I'm getting old, son. One day you'll have to rule in my stead. Why don't you practice ruling? Go deal with that person."
Thank you, Father. I hope this day does not come soon. Well, I approach the guard and say, "Good. I'm Prince Budarius. What kind of lodging do we have in Slagmire for my father, the king, and my sisters and brothers? Brother.
The good count is going to put you up tonight. There are nice accommodations for you overseeing the swamp."
The swamp.
Quite healthy.
It doesn't seem to bother the people here once you get used to the smell.
I guess this will have to do. Thank you very much. We are thankful for your hospitality and the safety you are offering us and my father. We would, we have some goods we are transporting as well. Some traveling equipment, maybe some clothes, and
of
that
course
need to be loaded
camels.
onto the carriages as well.
Do we have our camels with us, by the way?
I don't think so. I think in this particular situation, you know that you're traveling by boat, and then it's just a
Can't
short
fit a camel
jaunt.
on a boat.
Yeah, the camels don't travel so well. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know you really wanted those camels. So you guys can go make your stay in Slagmire that night. By the time you're walking through the city, which is, an arduous couple 100-foot rise up the twisting stairs that your old 80-something-year-old father's struggling with, and eventually, the guards help to sort of carry him along. The town has a smell about it. It smells like the town Slagmire sounds. There's this, metallic, kind of chemically smell that just comes from everywhere around you. The streets are quiet at night. And,
this is entirely pleasant.
Yeah. You guys get put up in the keep in a tower that overlooks everything, so you've got a really good view and a really good scent of just the swamp that rises up around you all. Continue.
I've probably got a small bottle of perfume around me, and I'm just yeah, well, yeah. Anyone else? A little bit of
not
right.
perfume.
Oh, well, I'm just saying it's slightly more pleasant than the charming scent of this charming town.
I'm sure this is where the name comes from. Sarah. Can we borrow some incense? The very smelly kind.
I mean, are you going to say a prayer?
Yes.
We can pray.
Yes, absolutely.
Sure, why not?
The smellier the better.
And I guess I have a smaller, one of.
Why don't you pray to Martha
metal...
for? Why don't you pray to Martha for less smell?
I don't think that's how it works.
Oh, and the safety of our father, of course, and less smell.
Nice.
I have a small incense diffuser, one of
Remember to
those
tell the
little
family.
ones to go, with a little chain on it.
All right. You set up some incense, and unless you have anything that you would like to do in Slagmire tonight, we can just pass the night away.
I just want to approach Sarah quickly at some point when we have our accommodations. And I guess I'm going to knock on her door.
Yeah.
Sarah.
I open the door.
Sister, I wanted to speak to you for a minute.
Sure, bud. Come in. Sit down.
Thank you. I know Father wants me to be the one in charge of everything and make sure that everything runs smoothly here, but I'm not that interested in all these things. So if you could assist me in the basic things about the travel, I would really like your assistance, sister.
I put one hand on his shoulder and I said, "What do you mean by you're not interested in these things?"
Ordering people around and making sure everything runs smoothly. That's more, I don't know.
Sometimes in those simple things where you command, normal people around, you can learn a lot about how to command important people around.
Oh, well, this might be true.
Well, I can tell you, you always have my support and my counsel, and I'll always be there. And whenever you want me to do something, I'll gladly do it.
Okay.
I know you need some time to get, back in the swing of things. I understand.
Yes, well, thank you. I need to adjust to this style of this lifestyle of as a rich man again, as a prince. All these years traveling. I think they changed just my view. I'm not. I think I got more simple than I was before.
It's a good thing Maya's not here right now.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you got more simple, or maybe things are just more complicated now.
True.
But you're trying, and I'm proud of you. I think you can do it. You have my support. We'll get through it.
That means a lot, sister. And I give her a hug.
Yeah, hug him
And
as well. He's a really big guy, right? So
yes, so he's hugging down, maybe. Just a bit. Well, thank you. And then he goes back to his quarters and has a night of sleep.
Okay. The morning dawns. It is a slightly rainy day. Not much going on other than that. And as you awake and break your fast and head on down for the road, you do see a pair of very nice carriages waiting for you at the edge of Slagmire. Y'all can head down into your carriages, and this is where I'd like to ask you how you... There's 2 carriages. There are 4 of you, plus your father, plus his assistant, plus 4 knights, and the captain of the guard. So there's a lot of you. Captain of the guard has a horse to ride on. Someone needs to, scout the way ahead of where you will be. How would the rest of you like to split up? Your dad wants to definitely sit with Yassi, since, she's his advisor. But the rest of you can be in whatever order you want.
I'll probably be in the sort of like, I'm going to sort of like obviously give deference to the full children sort of thing. So I'm just, going to wait and see.
Okay. Who does anyone want to sit in the wagon with Dad and Yassi?
I do not.
Oh my god, we're probably having a big discussion when this comes up, right? People are like, oh, where are you gonna sit? And I'm like, well, I really want to sit with Sammy, but I also want to sit with Dad, and I also want to sit with Bud if anything comes up, and there's just not enough carriages, and I'm just like, why do we not have enough carriages here? Why is it only 2? Do we have to sit in the carriages, or can we also sit on the horses dragging the carriages?
No, the horses pulling the carriages don't have saddles. They're pullers, not carriers. You could walk alongside, you could ride on the back, but it's sort of raining, so that's kind of a pain in the ass.
Don't worry, guys. I think Bud's gonna have you here. He's gonna suggest sitting with Father, and you 3 just have fun and a nice ride in the other carriage while I listen to him mumbling about whatever he's trying to tell me.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Did you have a good
All right, so Bud goes to sit in the carriage with Dad. The other 3 of you take the other carriage. And I wonder, is this a typical arrangement where like Bud runs off to go hang out with Dad and Yassi? I know he's been gone for a while, but like before that, is this typical where the 3 of you hang out and then the eldest and the king hang?
I'm not sure how much I got to hang out with everybody because, sort of like half sister and things. I probably spent an awful lot of time in the, with the other concubines, just kind of like, oh, this sucks.
Ooh, okay. What about you, Sammy and Sarah?
I would say that my character's doesn't necessarily like project the noblehood, but takes any opportunity he can to avoid it. So seeing as though this is a political mission, he wants to like avoid having long conversations with Dad by being in the same carriage.
Got it.
So it's like, come on, sister, let's go have a fun talk in the other carriage, kind of thing. Not like it's not like a typical thing. It's just whenever politics is coming up, it's something to avoid.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Bud doesn't always volunteer to hang out with Father, but this situation, I think he's interested to use the time traveling to find out how much influence Yassi has over his father, because he was gone for such a long time, and Yassi was appointed like 15 years ago, so he knows her when it all began with her career. So he just wants to see how the relationship has developed now, and yeah.
I think it's also that Sarah's trying to take a little bit of a step back, right? Because she has taken over. Like, if Bud wasn't around, she would have been in that carriage with them up there, right? Talking and figuring things out. And she's trying to take a step back. Because even though she still goes to council meetings and all these things, she's actually really happy that Bud is back, because she always believed he would come back one day, right? No matter what. And for her, he was also like the true heir, the one man who is going to rule Akuban, and she has never had any doubts about that. So she knows now is her time to,
to avoid responsibility.
Back, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So you are driving along in your carriages. It is a one-day journey between Slagmire and Crownhold. It's about 41 miles, and with your horse-drawn carriages, you can go about 48 miles today, even with the rain, because these are well-traveled roads with deep ruts, and it's only a light smattering of rain, and you've got some good horses here to pull you around. This is fun. Yeah, so, specifically Budarios, is that how you pronounce it?
You can pronounce it Budarios or the Budarios, however you like.
Budarios. So you're listening to your father and Yasi talk, and really it's mostly him kind of rambling and her nodding along and maybe occasionally taking some notes, and she seems very subservient, as a servant ought to be. And occasionally he'll ask for her opinion, and she'll think for a moment and give some calculated response, which he takes well and nods and goes along with it. It seems that they have a strong working relationship. Like a king and his assistant. They're quite tight, and she often understands what he's trying to say when he can't find the right words for it.
Okay, but I don't have the impression that she's kind of influencing him in a direct way. And if she is, it's very subtle, so that I don't notice it. Right?
She's not like laying down policy and being like, "King, you should do this." Yeah, she's kind of advising as needed.
Okay.
She's a lower class citizen who was raised to this point of station because your father just kind of liked her. She answered things the way that he liked and had a good communication style, and so she worked her way up from kitchen girl, just like scrubbing pots and pans as a kid, to advisor to the king. And some of the other noble families don't take kindly to the promoting of peasants to such an important position. He doesn't seem to care. Anyway.
Okay, good. Thanks.
All right. So you guys are heading along your road. You get to about, here-ish or so, right before Foghaven, and you're heading through a particularly woody section, when up ahead, Serena calls for a halt to the wagons. The wagons kind of come more or less abruptly to a stop in the middle of the road. I think you're all just a little surprised that in the middle of absolutely nowhere, your wagons have stopped.
Going to poke my head out.
From your position, you can just kind of see that Selena has pulled around her horse and is kind of frantically looking back and forth at everything. And I think that is when the first of many arrows let loose. Ooh. Let us.
I immediately dive for the floor of the carriage.
Dive for the floor of the carriage.
Hell yeah.
Okay. I guess this is it. Let's do it. This is an ambush. So the enemy gets their attacks off for the rest of the party. And let's bring them to the appropriate lair. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 enemy archers. Where are my dice?
Neal, I have one issue.
Yes.
So the character sheets have been updated, right?
Which character sheets?
Our
Roll
character
20?
sheets.
The roll 20 ones?
Yeah.
I think so. Is there something wrong with them?
Yeah, it's lost all my weapons and stuff.
Oh my god. I can fix that.
Yay.
Maybe. No, I can't. We'll make it work. It'll be fine. I hope. Anyway, the first volley of arrows from these people in hiding along the road, which you can now see poking your head out, is blocked by turned over wagons. All fire at the lead knight, Selena, and her very nice plate mail with her shield and her spear. Landing 0 hits on the first volley, but archers get 2 attacks per round. And 1 hit on the second round. As an arrow pierces her armor, the chainmail near the armpit, striking Selena for a whopping 1 point of damage. Good job, NPC archers. You're really doing well. You're making me proud. Minus 1 point of damage. Excellent. And now we roll for initiative, everybody. Your Fuzzy, your initiative is going to be at +3, D10 +3. You should just be able to click on your token and click the initiative button in the upper left-hand corner.
Are we supposed to be on a battle map?
Did I not bring you to the battle map? You are on a battle map.
It seems my roll 20 is...
No, I see the world map as well.
Yeah, I see the world map.
You might want to refresh then.
I refresh and it works.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, roll 20.
Woo.
Okay, let us get...
So what do I use for my initiative modifier?
What are you doing?
Casting a spell, I guess.
Then you're going to use the initiative modifier based on the casting time of your spell.
Right.
For those of you unfamiliar with 2nd edition, initiative is a D10 plus your modifier, which is based on what action you're doing. We roll for it every round, and lower is better in this situation. Okay, Sarah has a
What?
0.
I think that's wrong. I think I put a plus too much in there.
Yes, you put 2 pluses in there. You should have a 7. Thank you very
I'll
much.
take the 0. I'm fine with that. It's all good.
No. I disapprove of your 0.
Alright, I got a 7.
You're a 7. I will add you manually to the turn token. Wonderful.
Right.
All right, Bud, you are the first one to act. You are in Dad's wagon with Yasi. There is a knight on the back and a knight on the front, and one of these Akuban, Mystrian guards here dragging the wagons.
On the top of his lungs, he's gonna scream, ambush! Protect the king! And then I'm going to exit the carriage, grabbing my shield on my way out. And... well, I'm hoping that the guards are going to stay with my father. That would be a solid choice for the guards. And how far can I move around?
You can move 120 yards, so 360 feet, because it is 2nd edition and rounds are 1 minute long. So you can go anywhere on the battle map you're going to ever want to go. And since we're not using a grid system, when you want to move your token, just click on it, drag, and then use the right-click button to kind of measure how far you're walking. And it'll kind of lay out your path and the amount of movement it'll take to get there.
Well, I'm not attacking this round, and I will tumble and move to the first one with a melee weapon. I guess up here.
All right, so Bud goes all the way down towards the guy with the axe, and who is readied with an attack at the first person to close with him. So he takes his axe, and it's like a big wood cutting axe, and he brings it with both hands up and over his head and down into the earth beside you, maybe like a foot to your left, going nowhere near you whatsoever.
Okay.
Make your attack rolls.
I'm not attacking this round. I'm tumbling.
Tumbling.
I'm
Oh,
just
you're
trying
just defending.
to draw attention.
All right. Next up is Maya.
Right. Okay. I am gonna grab my bow, which I've probably carried in a sort of like a lovely, sort of like fashionable silk bag. Right. Because I'm fashionable, goddammit. And I am going to fire at one of these guys. Probably the one, sort of, probably this one.
Okay. That one is well within view.
Right.
And I believe, it's just since your weapon table got all ruined from that character sheet adjustment, what is your attack bonus?
+2. I found my actual character sheet. That's the
PDF.
Yeah.
Yes, D20 +2 to hit.
Right. Oh shit, 20. Nice.
Well, that is a 18 +2 is 20. You clear their AC by 10, and you rolled a natural 18, so you actually do a double critical hit. So roll me 3 times damage on that guy.
Damage is 1d6, that's 3d6.
1d6, 3d6, that's right.
Wow.
Well, that archer takes 13 damage. It's a shot right to the throat, and he
It's just like,
he just falls backwards on his butt with an arrow sticking out of his neck, and he dies on the spot. Right. Next person in initiative is this guy next to Bud. He had a ready to attack from last round. It's his turn now, and he takes another swing at you, Bud, with an 18 to hit. Now, you normally have 17 AC, but if you are parrying, as it's called, I think you get half your level +1 since you're a fighter, so you should have 19 AC. Is that right? No, you get another 2 from tumbling, right? So you should have 21 AC. You're muted, though.
It's 2 from the shield and 4 from tumbling, so I'm currently at 23.
23.
Yeah.
Oh, that 17 doesn't include your shield?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, fantastic. So the natural 18 comes and hits your shield, glances to the side with some sparks flying all around it, and embeds itself in the earth once more. Next up is another archer, kind of down here, who can't really see a shot on Bud. We'll just take his first shot at Celine with a 4 to hit, completely missing, bringing us to Sammy. Now, this is the first time we are going to see this new magic system in work. Normally, second edition has spell slots, but we are going to use an MP system with custom spells. So what are you casting, Sammy?
So I am casting a magic missile using metal bars from my comforter pouch.
Okay.
So I have to roll to hit against their non-armored AC and 1d6. So that's I don't know my adjustment for rolling to hit.
0.
Okay, so it's just a d20.
Just a d20 for you. And you got how many missiles? 3? 4?
I get 4 arrows.
Yes.
So I get 40, 20. And I want to split them up against the entire right side. So I want to leave the carriage first of all.
Okay. And when you say the entire right side, you mean these 4 right here?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The ones nearest to Bud to assist him.
Yeah, these guys aren't behind 3/4 cover. Maybe. No. Yeah, that's fine. You got a clear line of sight on all of them.
Great.
Go for it.
So 40 20s.
Sure.
And we'll go left
2
and right in
hits.
terms of what's getting hit.
All right, so we have 2 hits because the 6 and the 5 miss. So roll me damage for the hits.
So that's a 2 and a 3.
Two and a 3. Damage?
Yeah, 2 and 3 for damage.
Oh, okay. It didn't come in for me yet. The first one takes 2. Second one takes 3 and dies, actually.
So that's
just goes
a
down.
first level spell, so that uses 1 mana point.
3.
3. Does it use 3?
3.
Sorry.
It's all right. You have a lot. Oh my
Yes,
God,
I
how
do
much-
have many.
Got an insane amount of NP. You rolled very well, didn't you?
No, I actually rolled low. It's that I have a large amount of willpower.
Ah, that's what it is. All right, Sarah, you are next up.
Right. So this guy's still alive over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I get a clear shot when I leave the wagon?
Yes, you do.
Right. A d20 to hit that guy. Okay, which is a miss.
Nope. Wild miss. Arrow goes super far and wide. Next up is our Axeman, who is actually going to stay and keep an eye on things over here, followed by 3 remaining archers, who will turn their lovely attention to the wizard, with very low armor. You take a 4, which is a miss, an 18, and a 19, both of which are critical hits.
Ouch.
So you will take 4d4 damage. Oh, maybe someone will die. Oh, shit.
Wow.
Well, according to Neal, my HP is supposed to be 7, but according to me, I said it was 9 because at the time of character creation,
Could it be that it's not twins but triplets, but the other one is just staying behind for now?
Still at home, we're getting him to worry about it.
Do you have 9 instead of 7?
it was a case of whether you allowed me to re-roll because I rolled a D8 instead of a D6.
But your roll was still within the confines of the D6.
It was.
So we're going to use the roll that's within the confines of the D6.
Okay, so then I have 7 health.
Yeah.
Had.
Used to.
All right. The first arrow hits you for 5, which you will mark as a separate wound from the second arrow, which will hit you for 4.
Okay.
We're going to do individual wound tracking, and you'll see why in a little bit, everyone. So you take 2 arrows, 1 to the chest, 1 to the abdomen, and
said
flop
5 and 4?
backwards. 5 and 4. Bringing you to -2. -10 is death, everyone.
Off to a great start.
Yep. Everyone gets second attacks. I don't think any of you have them. Actually,
Yeah, we do.
You do. Both of you do. Both of the archers do. So one of these will take a shot before. No, Maya goes first, and then Archer.
Right. Okay, which is the one who just shot Sammy?
This guy over here, and this one over here. These
Are they
two
both
bastards.
in cover?
I would say that the bottom one has maybe half cover. This one at most 25%.
All right, I'm gonna go for this one then, the one that's more out of cover, and I'm going to pew pew.
Okay, 25% cover is a penalty of 2 to hit.
9.
So your 9 gets tangled up in some branches and misses the target. Unfortunate. Our next ready guy will take a shot at Celine again with a natural 19, which does not hit her armor. And
Yay, the tanks!
Sarah goes.
Right, I'm gonna
Second
see
shot.
what Maya's doing, so I'm aiming for the same guy. Oh my god.
Nope.
Yep. Nope.
And
Your
the
brother is
last
dying.
The last 3 will divide their attacks, 1 at Sarah with natural 3, and 2 at Celine with a 19 and a 17. I actually kind of forgot to roll initiative for your allies. Sorry. So they're all just
That's
going to
all
go
good.
right now.
Police just sitting on that horse, eating arrows.
Yeah, she's going to dismount and draw her sword. We're just going to get rid of the horse icon for a little bit here. And then she is going to book it this direction at this guy and make an attack. Which, for our 9th level captain of the guard, Celine, is definitely a hit. And I think she will just rip this person to shreds with 10 damage. Yeah, just cutting this axe guy down to pieces. His opportunity attack is a miss. And this guard is going to come here. This one is going to come here. This one's going to come here. Come forward over here. This back one is going to stand near the back. These two are doing this, yeah. So they're kind of moving forward, but not advancing directly into the fray at this point in time. And let's roll initiative for the next round.
If I was...
You're 6.
So is dragging Sammy... So I have to ask because I need to know what I roll for initiative. If I try to drag Sammy back into the car, first of all, is that feasible? Second of all, is that my whole action for that thing?
What is your strength?
I have 16 strength.
Yeah, you can easily lift Sammy. Sammy's not... yeah, you could pull him in the cart. I don't think it would be a full action. He's not that far from the cart. What else would you like to do?
I would like to channel some healing into him, I guess? Because he's bleeding out right now, isn't he?
He is bleeding to death, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I would like to stop that.
All right. Then we can do so.
So what do I roll for that?
You're going to roll... Sarah, you roll up +3 for initiative. Sammy, you roll just a d10, and you bleed on your initiative turn.
Right.
Okay. Has everybody rolled initiative? Yes.
Yarp.
All right. Let's start it off with Sammy. You take a point of bleeding damage. You're closer to death. How lovely.
No, I just lose 1 health. I don't apply any wounds.
It is a separate wound. Each bleeding point is its own wound. Maya, your turn.
I'm going to shoot at the same guy I shot at last time, so this one over here.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Go for it.
Yeah. That'll be another 20 crit.
Oh
That's crit,
my,
right?
yes, it is another double damage. Single crit this time, since you do have a penalty of 2 to hit him from his cover.
Okay,
so just 2d6.
Right.
Oh yeah, that guy drops like a fly. No questions about it. Budarios.
Seeing that this fight is going very good for us, he is going to engage in melee, throw the shield on the ground, and just start to hit the X-Man in front of him. So let's see.
Oh, wild miss. Nope.
Yes, that's a wild miss.
Okay. Next we have this archer down here who is seeing Celine rip one of his comrades to death. The other guys have been shot and are falling like flies. This archer sees the precarious situation he's in and decides this is not worth my life and just fucking takes off.
Come back! We need the XP!
We're also doing a milestone system instead of an XP system, so don't worry about XP. You'll just level up at certain points. Now, while everyone is distracted off at the front of the battle map, from behind, hanging out, skulking in the shadows and the trees, slips this masked, darkened figure who's going to come straight for the carriage. This guard who's watching and waiting will get an opportunity attack. The move to intercept, make a roll to hit, which is a miss. The assassin will slip into the wagon and make an attack roll against dearly beloved dad.
Oh shit, son.
I'm stupid microphone. I am so sorry.
Doesn't Yassi get an opportunity attack, or is it only if you move through?
Yassi could have readied an attack, but she doesn't have any weapons. She's not a fighter. She's got a pen, and a notepad. What is she gonna do? Like stab him in the
eyes?
All right, she stabs the guy with a pen.
Than a sword.
Pens are dangerous.
She stabs him with a sword, a pen, and actually rolls a 14. Unfortunately, the assassin's AC is 15. and Yassi misses the assassin with the 10. The assassin, however, will roll a 14 plus 14 plus, it doesn't matter because Dad's AC is only 10. 14 plus 3 is 17, which will stab your father. Actually, she gets 2 attacks because she's dual wielding. Second attack is a 13, so she'll stab your dad twice for 4 and 1 damage. So he takes 5. Where's Dad's HP? Dad has 3 hit points total. He never leveled, he was never a fighter or anything like that, so he just has a total of D10, and he's old, so he rolled 3. So he is now bleeding to death in the wagon. Next up was the first of the Kingsguards, who still don't realize what's going on back there. They're going to move to here. The second guard's gonna move up as well. Actually, this one's gonna come all the way next to Bud and attack that guy with a hit for 8 damage, which doesn't kill him, leaving us with Sarah. Now, Sarah, you're positioned so you can actually see what's going on behind you, and you can hear the guard shouting, and I think you know that something is going on in the back of the party.
Wow. That's a conundrum right there.
Yeah, because you were about to drag Sammy in and save his life. What are you going to do now, Sarah?
Are you going to tell us? Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, you would have heard as well, right? Like, I don't think I need.
Well, it depends. It depends on perception.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do, Sarah? It's up to you. The roll's your oyster.
I'm grabbing my brother and I'm pulling him into the carriage.
All right. You pull Sammy in and you begin to channel your healing. At the end of the round, Sammy's bleeding will stop and he will regain 1 HP from one of his wounds.
So maybe I can explain real quick how it works when Sarah heals wounds. So what she does is she rubs her hands together and she blows a little bit of air on them to warm them up. And then, exactly, that's how it works. And then she has on her hands, she has like very thin golden rings, and she crosses those little golden rings, which is the symbol of her goddess of Martha, and then she presses it on the wound. And what happens in the person who is wounded, like, I don't know if they can still see it when they are unconscious, but maybe Sammy feels like he's having a really weird dream, right? And it feels like all this swamp air just kind of disappears, right? And like the forest air and everything. And even though he's unconscious, he can just smell spices. Like, it smells like an entire market full of spices. And that's like what he's experiencing as he gets healed, I guess.
All right. Nice. And he heals for 1 automatically. So we'll dive more into the clerical system a little bit later. Let's not worry about it for right now.
Oh, I'm not worried at all. You know, healing is not important right now for nobody whatsoever.
So Sammy, you are no longer bleeding to death, and you can remove that 1 point of bleeding damage that you took from that thing. Assuming that you don't die before the end of the round, because the healing takes place then, but I think you're in a good position. Next up is the Kingsguard, who let the assassin slip by. So with the wagon door still open, the guard will plunge his sword into the assassin, who has an AC penalty of 2 for being inside this cramped and uncomfortable wagon. The Kingsguard rolls a natural 20, which is a modified 29, which clears the assassin's AC by 14, doing triple damage, which is the max amount of criticals you can do. We're adjusting it slightly. 10, 3, and 4? 10, 3, and 4 is 17 damage to the assassin, who stands still.
Wow.
Celine is next, and is gonna come over here, around here. This guy's already fucked off. Let's bring the camera down. This guy's gone. He ran. So Celine comes up behind this archer, who turns to face her at the first moment of she noticing. Doesn't matter. Celine hits him with a 25 and rips him to shreds. Leaving us with the guy in front of Buderios, who sees all of his allies dying, totally fails his morale check, and bursts into a run, provoking attacks of opportunity from the guard. And maybe Bud? Do you get attacks of opportunity with your fists? All right, go for it.
You muted as well, by the way.
Guard misses.
Yeah, you're still muted.
Old Mighty misses with both of his attacks. Yes. It's not looking great. This guy manages to run off into the woods. The next person also fails the morale check and flees into the woods, leaving us with one of the Kingsguards back at the wagon, who, of course, hears and sees the commotion and is going to run to protect the king as well. Making an attack roll, which is a hit for 6 damage. And I think that's the party. That's it. Let's roll initiative for next round.
Did I get 2 attacks again, or?
You would get a second attack, but there are no enemies to shoot. They are gone.
Right, we'll go. Okay, cool.
They've fled the field. So let's all roll initiative.
So am I conscious now?
Nope, you are at 0. No, you're at -2. 3, you're at negative something.
But stable.
But stable, but unconscious.
Right.
Right.
So do I need to do initiative or not?
No, you get to chill. Take a break.
Just lie there and ooze quietly.
I like ooze as a verb meaning to bleed.
You're not really bleeding. It's just, you know, a bit of a trickle. It's not lethal bleeding. It's just there's still a hole.
Mm-hmm. So we don't need Sammy's initiative in here. Maya, you're the first one to act.
Right. So if I've seen like all the guards dashing backwards, I'm probably like, oh shit. And I'm gonna also run and take a stab at the assassin as well, pulling out my stiletto.
Yeah, I think with the guard attacking through the door, you're gonna have to like break a window and try and like stab through a broken window to get into this because it's narrow
how hard
openings.
would it be to fire past the guard into the carriage?
Penalty of 2 to hit, but you could do it. Yeah,
okay, in that case, I'll just stand back a bit and just be like.
Yep, go for it.
So that's.
I appreciate you not wanting to break the Mistrian wagon's window. You know, glass is hard to find these days.
I might ruin my outfit. You know, broken glass. Okay, so that's just a straight D20 then.
Yes, your adjustments balance, and you missed the assassin. Oh my god.
It's look, I'm firing into a melee in through a carriage window. Okay, it's hard, man.
It's only your father's life that's on the line.
I tried, okay? At least I get a second shot.
All right, the guard on the right will make his attack roll at the assassin, rolling a 20-something, but it's not enough to clear by 10, so it's just a regular hit. For 2 and 4 is 6. Leaving us with Sarah in the front wagon, standing over Sammy.
There's not really much space over there.
No, it is pretty cramped.
It seems really crowded.
Are you going to keep channeling your healing?
So how much healing am I doing in a round?
1 HP per round.
Blah, blah, blah. 1 second.
But it's infinite. You can do 1 HP per round forever, as long as the wound is of 3 HP or less.
Right. And I can't reach my father because it's so fucking crowded over there.
What are you gonna do?
Oh god.
Sarah?
Okay, but
Sarah?
no, what?
What's happening? What are you gonna do?
I actually have no fucking idea. Okay, I'm gonna walk over there. I'm gonna push this guy out of the way.
You're just like, get out of the
I
way,
just, like,
fifth level
get
guard.
Out of the way, and I grab him by the shoulder and I just pull him away. I'm like, I'm busy here. So,
All right.
I don't know.
You toss the guard to the side.
And can I still do something, or is like a shove? Is that like a shove action or something? Or
The
does
guard
he...
is not going to resist one of the royal family members, like running at him with a weapon, getting him out of the way. He goes with the flow. All right?
Okay, and then I'm gonna
Jesus, out the way.
shoving him away. I'm gonna stab at the assassin.
You roll to hit.
Jeez. Is that so with the spear? Oh, I don't get a hit adjust anyway, so
No.
I roll a
Oh
natural
my
one.
god.
Did you
So
just
I guess
do
I
that?
try. I guess I
Did you just
try
do
to
that?
shove. I shove the guy out of the way, and as I shove him, like I accidentally drop my spear in the same move. Like I'm shoving him, but I'm letting go, and
Well,
I'm
give
just
me-
standing in front of the carriage.
Before we say you drop your spear, I would like you to
I mean,
make
I
me a
could-
saving throw versus death.
Wow. Okay. What is that? That's.
I think that's going to be like you're a second level cleric. Your saving throw versus death is a 10. So it's a d20 plus 10, and you want to roll a 21 or higher. Okay,
24.
good. All right, you
Amazing.
just dropped your spear. If you had failed this, I would have had you make an attack against either Yassi or your father. But in this case, it's like shove the guard, drop the spear, it falls in the mud. You go to pick it up, the guard is standing over you like, what are you doing? I fucking have him. I get a second attack this round, and you just lost it because you pushed me out of the way.
Totally worth it.
All right. Next up is the assassin, who, against all odds, has survived the 4 attacks of people surrounding her. And she will make 2 more attacks against your unconscious father. Both of which are hits. Ooh, this one... 17... No, is barely not a crit. But the assassin will still stab your father, who bleeds out 1 point this round I forgot about. For 3 and 3 is 6. Bring your father to -9 out of 10 hit points.
Oh shit, son.
The next guard is over here with Badarios in the woods, not really aware of what's going on. Next guard is over here next to Maya, and will try to murder the assassin with a 16 and 4 and 3 is 7, 23, which is only a single hit. For 4 and 4 is 8 damage, not quite killing the assassin yet. Leaving us with Bud.
Brother!
So, there are no enemies around us right now.
But
there's
fleeing
still
into
commotion in the back, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna run there.
Yeah. You should have more than enough movement to get there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 360 feet of movement, so you can make it there, no problem.
Damn, it's kind of crowded and busy in here.
Very much so.
Yes. Can I tumble myself into the wagon somehow?
You're kind of a large man, Bud. I don't know if you can do this. I'm gonna need you to make me like a dexterity check at like -5. It's gonna be like the wagon windows are just barely big enough, so you're gonna have to like do a graceful dive and pull and everything.
No problem.
Okay, so.
Oh my god.
Oh, you get stuck through the window.
Give me a saving throw versus death, Bud. What's your save? Yours is d20 plus 6. Okay. Whew. So you don't make it into the wagon. Instead, you just kind of slip on the mud and kind of collide with Sarah, who then bumps back into the other guard, and all 3 of you just kind of go sliding this way in the wet earth.
We're not used to the wet, okay? We're used to dry.
Yeah.
Wet is tricky.
Celine,
It's like Californians driving in the rain.
This damn cloak! It's too long! It's too long!
Celine will also run over here. She gets over here, makes her
This is why
attack.
we needed more carriages, people.
She rolls a natural 1, completely missing the dude. This other guard, let's see if he knows what's up. Yeah, he hears all the commotion, takes a look back there, is like, that's a clusterfuck. There are too many people surrounding that wagon. I can't do any help. I'm just gonna guard the front.
Do I get my second attack now?
Yes, you do, Maya.
Okay, I'm gonna, yeah.
Get it, Maya.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Rolling amazingly until right now.
All right, well, let's roll initiative, everybody. Oh shit, Dad goes at 3.
Oh, no. Oh my
fuck.
God.
It doesn't matter. No one
There's
can go
no
faster
way
than that. Your
I
father
beat
is going to
that
die.
shit.
Yeah.
I can't beat it. Like,
No
I
one
can't-
can beat that.
Healing is a 3, right?
Yeah. Literally, no one can beat that. I think you guys can look at him and you can see that his life is slipping away and that there's nothing you can do about it. So,
Yum.
Dad goes first, bleeds a point, and dies.
Can't he hold his action until the end of the round?
Unfortunately, he's unconscious, so he can't make that decision. But I like the way you think. And Bud, you are next, recovering yourself in the mud.
I actually. I've rolled well for initiative, which is terrible. Like, I rolled really high numbers for initiative and really low on everything else.
That's no good. Budarios?
Father! And in anger, I'm gonna stand up out of the mud and charge this assassin.
Go for it.
The assassin I hired, and now successfully.
There you
16.
go. You land a hit. How does your pugilist work with this?
Well, I'm entering the carriage a bit, standing on it, and I'm gonna kick the assassin into the groin
Ah.
with a successful KO chance.
Well,
and 5 points of bludgeoning
that's
damage.
great. The 5 points of damage knocks her out. The groin shot is less useful than you might have thought, because now you're realizing that this is a female
It still
assassin.
hurts.
I'm
but
not
it's
saying
not-
it doesn't hurt. I
yeah,
mean,
it's
getting
not,
kicked
I'm gonna spend
fucking
10 minutes
hurts.
trying not to throw up. Sort of
I
pain.
get it, yeah. You also knock her out from damage and from your KO ability since you're pugilist, and the
Yes.
assassin goes down. And I think this is where we can step out of initiative and go to our first break. As the king is dead, everybody. Episode 1, the king is dead.
We fucked up.
See you on the other side.
We fucked up bad.
Bye.
What a bad start, guys.